Hello, everyone. We'll get started in just a few more minutes. We're waiting in one more speaker and more people to join. Thank you. All right. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alida Coutinho, and I am the Network Coordinator for the Aging Services Council and the Aging and Disability Resource Center. And I want to thank you, everyone, for being here. We're really looking forward to diving into one of the most present and complex challenges impacting our older adults community, which is housing. But before we dive in, I just want to do some housekeeping. If you have any questions, please save them till the end. We want to ensure that we give all of our speakers the dedicated time. And if you are not muted, please mute yourself right now. So we're just going to dive in right now with some statistics. So housing instability for older adults in Central Texas, it is a growing concern. In Central Texas, older adults age 65 and older is one of the fastest growing population in our region. As we can see from our stats, is that Travis County older adults percentage makes up the 16% of the population. The same goes with Williamson County, where it makes up almost 20% of the population. Caldwell and Bastrop sharing 23% of their population are older adults. In Hayes County, it's make up of the 18%. With increase in age, it also comes with increased risk of housing instability, fixed incomes, and accessibility to needs. One of the rising risk of displacement is that Austin and the surrounding counties are experiencing gentrification, a lack of affordable senior housing, more seniors at a risk of eviction, displacement than ever before, and homelessness is among older adults is increasing by 37% from the years 2019 and 2022, and it keeps increasing. Medical conditions, mobility limitations, and a lack of family support and compound issues. Older adults are facing homelessness or housing insecurity more often and it's also contributing to their health. So because of this, and we know how important it is housing for a lot of our helping professionals, we have a panel of organizations that we would like to have their time to present to us. So our first presenter will be the housing department with the city of Austin, and they will be presenting on the home repairs program and sharing our resources. So I will stop sharing so they can share.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carrie Davis. I'm with the Housing Department at the City of Austin. And Alita, could you put in the chat the attachments that I gave you yesterday on the different flyers so that our grant program information can be shared?
Yes, there will be on the chat right now.
Okay. And also, folks, if you want, I put in some links that I'll discuss in a second if you're interested in applying for any of the programs I'm going to discuss today. Okay, I am going to attempt to share my screen. So give me just a second. Here we go. And I apologize. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, great. As I mentioned, I'm with the home repair programs, and I manage 5 grant programs there that are really focused in enabling people to to age in place, so that when repairs get to be too expensive to put on a new roof, or if you find that you have some plumbing or electrical issue, maybe one of our grant programs could assist with that. Today, I'm going to focus on just 2 of those, but certainly if you have any questions afterwards, I can discuss the full range of programs that we have. So the first one is called Go Repair, and this provides up to $20,000 in repairs. And this is really focused on addressing substandard housing issues. So if you're having trouble with electrical, you're seeing sparks, or you've got a leaking roof, these are the kinds of things that we could address. So to be eligible, you have to be living in a single family detached house, and it has to be within Austin's full purpose city limits. And you must have a gross annual income at or below 80% of the median family income. And don't get scared by all of the those acronyms. I'll go over that in more detail in a second. So the repairs that we typically cover under this program fix dangerous conditions like, as I mentioned, leaky plumbing or faulty electric, decaying roofs. And we can also make some modifications under this program to make sure that the home is accessible as you age. So we really want to, with this funding, address all kinds of safety and accessibility issues. The other program that I thought might be beneficial is what we call our architectural barrier removal. And I know that's a mouthful, but this program is focused towards seniors and people with disabilities. And again, the modifications can rise to a cost of $20,000. And in this instance, the program really focuses on helping homeowners and renters remove physical barriers within their homes to enhance accessibility. So things like if you can look at the picture here, the top one is of a ramp that was put in so that a person using a wheelchair would have easy access to the front of their home. And then the one below, we do hundreds of these a year, is where we remove a bathtub and put in a walk-in shower. And in this instance, we would also include grab bars and other things that would make it easier for the person to be able to bathe in this bathroom. So again, these programs are available to Austin homeowners and also renters, but the landlord would need to approve any kinds of these structural changes to the apartment or duplex that they lived in before we could address the repairs. And those meeting age requirements would be 62 and above, or if somebody is diagnosed with a disability. Again, so the grants are really to support improvements, as I mentioned, like bathrooms, ramps, door widening and upgrades, those kinds of things. And it really allows people to be able to stay in their own homes. And we're really trying to address physical barriers and making homes more user-friendly. So the income limits, this is the third prong of seeing if you are at least initially eligible. And if you look here, it would be a person, if you were the only person in the home applying for this grant, your income cannot exceed $65,450. So for example, a four-person household would need to make an annual income of $93,450 or less to qualify. And we do have some programs that are 100% MFI, which would be our plumbing and our private lateral program. But I just wanted to give you a general overview of what we have in this space. Thank you. Oh, I guess I should add that if you are interested in applying for these programs, the first link I have here is it goes to our short form, which is a very quick 15-question form, getting some basic information as well as what repairs that you might be interested in. And I review that information and then I assign them to one of our 6 nonprofit partners. I see Brian Sykes here with Meals on Wheels has been one of our longstanding and a terrific partner to work with. And his organization would actually do the initial eligibility. Sorry if I'm stealing any of your thunder, Brian. Doing the initial eligibility as well as then actually working with contractors to make those repairs in your home. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. So now that you transition to Meals on Wheels, Brian is actually our next speaker. Brian, if you would like to take the room.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Sykes with Meals on Wheels Central Texas, the VP for home repair here. As Carrie just mentioned, we do administer all of these programs for the city of Austin. I was going to share a link because we do have multiple. If I go, basically, I'll just see if I can add a brochure to the. Well, I'll try to figure out how to do that in a sec. But I got a brochure where we also administer several other grants. We have 2 veteran programs. The Home Depot Foundation is strictly for veterans. We do serve the 7 surrounding counties. We have, including Travis County. We also have the Texas Veterans Commission, which is for veterans and widows of veterans. Naturally, you do have to qualify for the 80% MFI. And we also, when AAA does have funding, we also administer for them as well. And then we do have a Travis County Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG grant through Travis County, where we can go out to the county, which is outside the city limits of Austin, administer home repair and in some cases septic tanks. Pretty much all I had. I don't know if y'all have any questions for me.
Yeah, we will be, I'm sure people will have questions. We will transition them at the very end. So now we're going to transition to our next speaker. We will take a closer look how community-based services can prevent displacement and provide housing and stabilization. We have Family Elder Care, Delia with Family Elder Care presenting.
Hi, I'm Delia Diaz, the Housing and Homeless Program Manager at Family Elder Care. Let me see if I can share my screen. I just want to talk briefly about our agency as a whole and how we have evolved into housing. We first started out as helping the needs of individuals as caregivers, and then we expanded, exploring abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. We have served over 16,000 clients in the Austin area. Our mission is to continue to provide services to promote instability for older adults and people with disabilities. We've helped individuals who are unhoused. And if you look at the numbers, the slide shows that there has been a critical trend in our community. While the numbers of unsheltered older adults have gone down, the overall number of individuals age 55 and over experience homelessness, and it's actually increased significantly by 70%. This does not necessarily show for those individuals who are maybe in shelters or couch surfing, but without permanent and stable housing. FEC offers permanent supportive housing. We have contracts with DAC. We have our Pecan Garden and our HUD PSH program, and then our newest groundbreaking PSH project that will be June of 18. So I wanted to share some information about our Pecan Gardens. It is a motel conversion, part of the City of Austin's motel conversion plan. We are able to house 78 individuals, providing the wraparound services, case management, peer support, SOAR. We have a collaboration with UT School of Nursing and Bluebonnet Trails. Our newest project, our newest construction right now, will be a 150 unit serving 65 plus individuals. This unit will offer 1 and 2 bedroom apartment mix. So we are very excited about this. We are just around the corner for having this as an opportunity to house a large number of our Travis County individuals. This is a little bit of an overview of how that structure will look like with the 1 and 2 bedrooms and some of the community amenities that we hope to share. We are hoping to have an intensive case management program to be able to have 1 to 13 ratio for our clients to build those skills that they need to sustain in permanent housing. We also have current rapid contracts, largely with the City of Austin. We have a collaboration with VSS Plus to ride from 1 to 24 months of short-term rental history. I wanted to share a quick video. I'm hoping you guys can hear it. Let's see. This was one of our clients who moved in to our Pecan Garden. Let's try to turn it up. I'm sorry, it's shorting out. Well, I am sorry about that, but that was her first time moving in. She was one of our newest residents. So I will definitely drop that in the chat for you guys to see it. Thank you.
Yes, definitely drop it on the chat so we can have the opportunity to see it. And now finally, we will shift the personal size side of housing for the adults who might no longer be able to live independently. We have John Brown from Oasis Senior Advisors.
You're muted.
He's on mute.
All right, there we go. Now can you hear me? Sorry about that. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. I have a PowerPoint that covers all the different types of senior living, but I'm just going to rush through as many of them as possible. Can you see my screen?
No, we cannot see your screen.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. Yes.
All right. Okay, so and now it's not moving. Hold on one second. Is the screen moving at all on yours? Let's see, share again. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Sorry about that. It just took a moment to get going. All right. So Oasis Senior Advisors, we help families when they're looking for senior living or senior care. Just going to skip a bunch of these. This is a very long presentation, but I want to try to get to just the different types of senior living. I did want to mention that currently there is a lot of legislation going on around senior care and senior living. Currently, I think there's 7 bills going through the Texas House and Senate. Most of them are about specifically boarding home, group homes, and unlicensed care for seniors. So that is something that, we'll have to kind of work through. But specifically, they're looking at and I hope you can see, I can't tell, but hopefully you can see where it says group homes and boarding homes. So group home and boarding homes are your lowest level of options for people who have lower income needs. It's basically communal living. It can be, multiple people in a home. The legislation, though, that has been passed is that no care can be given. So they can't manage medications. They can't do any kind of standby assist for any kind of things like that. They can offer meals in those homes. That is a new law that has been passed, bill just in the last week. Of course, 55 plus apartments. Those are apartments that a senior would need to be able to qualify for by making 2 or 3 times the rent. And again, it's going to come down to their income and their assets. Subsidized housing, of course, is the apartments which are based on their income. One of the very large barriers with that, of course, is there's always it can be a substantial wait list, but it is asset-based apartment living. Independent living is, and this is where it kind of gets gray because you hear a lot of people say independent living or senior living. True independent living by licensing is an apartment with meals, housekeeping, transportation, and usually one bill. Whereas in an apartment, you pay for your electric, your water, your gas, and things like that. Independent living is usually one bill and covers everything, including the activities and transportation. Once a senior starts to need care, we start moving into the assisted living types. Assisted living type A is where they have caregivers on staff to help with dressing, bathing, transferring, incontinence, things like that. But a type A is a lower level. They have to be able to exit the building on their own, and they don't do as much care as a type B. A type B assisted, and I'm just skipping a bunch of slides if you give me a second. A type B assisted living is a higher level of care. That is where if there is a fire or an emergency, they will get them out of the building with assistance. And they usually can do a lot more care in an assisted living type B. 2-person transfer, Hoyers, more complex medical in those environments. Then you have memory care. Memory care is a very structured environment based on for those that have dementia or Alzheimer's. Memory care is very routine driven. and social activity driven to keep the cognition as high as possible. You have a higher level of caregiver to patient ratio. And of course, they would also be able to get any residents out of the building if there was an emergency. You have CCRCs or life plan communities. These are the very expensive communities with where people pay a large entrance fee and then are taken care of for life. So they might move into independent living, live there 3 to 5 years, and then transition to their assisted living, their memory care, or their skilled nursing. It's all on one compound. Skip some more. Okay, so then you have the personal care home. So in the state of Texas, a home can be designated as an unlicensed assisted living if they have 3 or less residents and they provide care. The legislation hasn't changed. There is some laws currently going through committee where this could be changed, but currently we are still allowed to have a 3-person home where they do receive care. But to go back to the boarding home and group homes, if there are more than 3 people in the home, they cannot give care. That's where the licensing and boarding home rules differ. So if you've got a home with 5 residents, it would have to be licensed to give any care. Then you have a residential care home. This is a licensed assisted living. It can be either a type A or a type B assisted living, where you have the caregivers there. Again, it's in a home setting with 24-hour, or it could be day hours only or 24-hour full care, depending on if it's an A or a B. Then you have, of course, nursing home. That's more of a medical model. It's designed for the more complex. We don't have many quote unquote just nursing homes in the Central Texas area, but by licensing, they're still there. Most of what we have in the Central Texas area is considered skilled nursing. So skilled nursing, the difference between a straight nursing home and a skilled nursing is a nursing home does not provide physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. It just provides care in a small setting, 2 people per room type environment. It is very medical on the nursing home side. On the skilled nursing side, it has that, plus maybe it has a wing for physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, or even mental health therapy. So, if they add the therapy to the nursing home environment, it's then called a skilled nursing. Then you have your outpatient rehab, and that is a rehab that specifically focuses on just physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, or we do have a few in the Central Texas area that are mental health, you know, drug abuse or drug, rehab, alcohol rehab, and things like that. So these last 2, the skilled nursing and the inpatient, are very short-term solutions. Often when we do have somebody, let's just, if we've had somebody who was homeless and they were injured, we would try to get them in a skilled nursing for rehab to get them stronger. If they have a history of bipolar disorder or something like that, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, then we would look at using one of the other inpatient rehabs. And then in conclusion, I mean, if you have any questions about any type of senior living, Oasis Senior Advisors, our service is free and confidential.
Thank you so much for that, John. So right now we're going to move into the Q&A, but before that, it seems to be a little glitch on the chat, so we cannot share documents. So I will be sending all the slides and documents provided to everyone once the meeting has ended. And we're going to open up the Q&A. If anyone has a question, please raise your hand or just type it on the chat. We will have our Tara specialist managing them. So yeah, you can raise your hand or put it directly into the Q&A or even in the chat, and I'll be kind of looking at all of that.
Hi, I'm Deborah Duncan with Austin Public Health, and I was wondering if there are any programs available at all from anyone who has spoken today that does not require an income eligibility. Is there anything available at all? If no matter how much money you make, is there any service that you can obtain?
Yes, I mean we can help with any situation, whether it be, if you're talking about housing and or senior care
Okay, thank you.
at Oasis Senior Advisors. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. And we have a question from Melissa Lopez. It says, where can we find applications for family elder care housing?
We receive all of our referrals through ECHO. They have to complete coordinator entry first, and then we give the option permanent supportive housing if they want to do pecan or the other units that might be available.
So, thank you. And then Macy Baker asked, how can people apply for units at the new FEC property? I guess that's a family elder care property.
Yes, it would be the same way, coordinated entry. We will reach out to ECHO and they will give us a large number of referrals and then we'll work from the list. So ECHO is our central person.
Awesome. And then Macy Baker asked another question, and it is, does Oasis work with clients who have MAP, or is payment like a rent?
So we don't have a specific facility. We work with all communities and facilities in Central Texas. So if somebody's on MAP and you're trying to figure out, okay, do they qualify for a Medicaid nursing home, or what resources are out there for them? We depending on their situation, we take a holistic approach. So we would look at, okay, what does their care look like, and then, okay, what are the options for that person? And so often we do run across a lot of people who are, let's just say, lower income, but they need care. And so then how do we wrap that all around to keep them safe until they maybe qualify for a Star Plus waiver for assisted living, or do they qualify for Medicaid nursing home?
Awesome. Let's see here. Carrie, I see your hand up. Did you want to ask your question aloud, or did you want me to read it?
I can ask it aloud. I have a patient who is being scammed by a woman in Phoenix, and I would like to refer him to the financial advocacy program at Family Elder Care. I was just wondering how I would go about doing that.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I will get your direct contact, and I can email it to Alda, and then she can pass it on to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then we have Autumn. I might say your last name incorrect. That's Autumn Sidlick.
And it says, I have a client that would benefit from the Oasis or the Family Elder Care opportunity. He is coming out of a new entry and will go back into being homeless, and we are trying to prevent this. He is also bringing in no income, but is willing to work. How can we navigate this? Any thoughts?
I mean, I can speak for Oasis. I mean, until he has some form of income, I mean, we're not going to be able to find a group home, a boarding home. We're not going to be able to find subsidized housing or anything until there's some kind of residual income. You know, we're at that point, we're on that line of shelters and what other nonprofits are out there to help. I know I'd probably start with elder care, but I mean, family elder care. But unfortunately, if they have no income, you know, we don't have that many resources. So sorry about that.
We don't require our participants to have income. So we do, it depends before they went to jail if they were on the street. So we would have to determine their homeless verification first, but definitely I would encourage to complete the CA first and see what they score, and then we can work on the verification of homelessness, even if you spend a day in a shelter after they're released. So it's definitely something we can work with that situation.
Yeah, I forgot to ask, what county are they in? Because there's quite a few nonprofits that, so if they're in Travis, of course, it'd be Family Elder Care, but like if they're in Hayes, it'd be BR3T. There's a homeless nonprofit.
Okay,
Awesome.
perfect.
Okay, and then Cassidy asks, what is the timeline someone can expect from application to approval and start uh, housework for the City of Austin home repair grants?
So, go ahead, Brian. You want to take
Yeah, I
that?
was gonna say, since we kind of handled that,
Yeah.
it really depends on the intake process. Right now, I think just on the intake, there's like a 2-week waiting period to get back to the client on our intakes. But once we get the intake and once we're deemed what grants they can qualify for, we'll send out an application, and it really depends on how fast the client can get back the application with all the necessary documents. If they received an application one day and we can get it back that next day, I would think, you know, with the timeline with people that are in front of them, within another 2-week period, we could probably be under construction. So it's pretty quick once we receive the application.
Thank you. Um, Carrie Stonebreaker asks, what is the intake process like with Oasis? Do they call for an appointment or do they need a referral?
No, we would call for an appointment. We just want to get the, you know, a general holistic approach of what's going on. So, and it's free and confidential. Depending on the situation, if you were to call and somebody was in a hospital or a rehab, we can go to them there. But most of the time it's via the phone, via Zoom, things like that. And it's just an overview consultation takes about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on their situation.
I know Autumn did include some information about that client she was asking about earlier, and she did say that the county that they're in is Travis.
Okay. Yeah, then it would go through Echo and Family Elder Care and well, and then you have community, you know, Community First Village, things like that. Right. I would probably, I mean, I would definitely, if you're facing homelessness, I would definitely reach out to Community First Village.
see. Okay. Between Elliot and Autumn, it looks like they might be networking a little bit, so that's awesome. It looks like that is the last of the questions. I don't know if anybody had anything else. Otherwise, I believe that Alita had some additional slides to go over.
We did have some additional slides, but I just want to thank everyone to join. And if you're interested on learning more about oh, there's oh, there you go. They're networking on the chat. If you would like to know more about advocacy for older adults or learning more about share resources. Oh, before I finish, I think Monica Hale had a question. Go ahead, Monica.
I see you took yourself off mute, Monica, but I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
We cannot hear you, Monica. I don't know if you
Can't
would
hear
like
you,
to type it on the chat.
All right, thank you.
So while Monica typed her question on the chat, I just wanted to say that if you're interested in learning more about topics to help older adults and you're interested in advocacy, join us on our next workshop. I will be dropping a link on the chat so we can have your feedback and we can work on what topics you're interested in learning. So please, please, please fill out that survey. It's very short, and we would like to put up another workshop for you that will be really helpful for you as well. And then did Monica type her question?
Look at that. Now I'm muted. I don't see a question yet from her.
Oh, there it is. You want to go ahead, Tara?
So Monica said, if there is someone with no income, they can try HACA, Housing Authority, City of Austin. They do have a wait list though, but they will work with them.
I think it was more of a statement rather than a question. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. If there's any final questions, comments, please do it now before we end it. If not, I'll be sending out the slides and all the shared information to everyone directly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.